Greetings, Spooky fans! Michael here. Real quick before the video gets started, if you are watching this video on the day it came out, that being July 21st, 2018, today is the last day to pick up an MandJTV t-shirt. Seriously, you've got like less than 12 hours, most likely, depending on what time I post this video. So go pick one up, link is in the description. You only have a couple hours left, or else you're not getting one. Welcome to part 3 of Pokemon Abilities Explained, where I am trying to go through every single Pokemon ability and logically explain its name, its effect, and why the name has anything to do with the effect. If you have not seen part 1 or part 2 of this series, make sure you go check them out. Link will be in the cards and in the description below. If you don't watch it, you're gonna miss out on about 60 ability explanations, so, you know, go watch them, learn things. So be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. And without further ado, here is Pokemon Abilities Explained Part 3. Ability 61 is Shed Skin. The Pokemon may cure status conditions by shedding its skin. Snakes and other animals that shed their skin do so to allow for more bodily growth and to get rid of any parasites that may have attached to their old skin. Apparently status conditions behave like parasites, so by getting rid of that old skin, they're getting rid of the status conditions. Ability 62 is Guts. It is so gutsy that having a status condition boosts its attack stat. For those who don't know, having the guts to do something is slang for having the courage to do something. So Pokemon that are super gutsy are willing to take on an opponent even if they're disadvantaged by a status condition, and being so pumped up to fight actually boosts their attack power. Ability 63 is Marvel Scale. The Pokemon weighs all of the characters from Avengers Infinity War in order to— I'm kidding. It's a stupid pun. Let's move on. The actual effect of this ability is the Pokemon's Marvelous Scales boost its defense stat if it gets a status condition. Marvelous means extraordinary, exceptional. So clearly the scales of this Pokemon are a cut above the rest. And one thing that normal scales don't do is harden or toughen when the Pokemon gets sick. However, these scales are marvelous, so when the Pokemon does get ill with a status condition of some kind, they harden and toughen up to protect it from more damage. Ability 64 is Liquid Ooze. Ooze is a terrible smelling liquid that damages any attackers that use a draining move. This one's pretty straightforward. The Pokemon is constantly oozing some nasty stuff. So if a Pokemon tries to sap life energy from that Pokemon, they're gonna pick up whatever disgusting bodily fluids this Pokemon is releasing, and that's gonna hurt. Abilities 65 through 68 are Overgrow, Blaze, Torrent, and Swarm. And I'm grouping them all together because they all boost the power of a certain type move when the Pokemon's HP gets low. And the names of these abilities correspond to a large amount of whatever type they are boosting. Overgrowth is in fact not the ceiling because that is overgrowth, but it is an excessive amount of plant growth. A blaze is a large, fiercely burning fire. A torrent is a strong, fast-moving stream of some liquid, but most often used to refer to a stream of water. And a swarm is a large amount of bugs. So clearly when this Pokemon's HP gets low, its primary typing powers up to compensate, thus creating a large amount of that elemental ability. Ability 69 is Rock Head. Protects the Pokemon from recoil damage. Your parents ever tell you to wear a helmet when you're riding your bike? If not, they're bad parents. Wear your freaking helmet. But in all seriousness, the Pokemon's heads are as hard as rock, which acts like a helmet. So when it's crashing into something, it's gonna take less damage. And by that I mean no damage. Ability number 70 is Drought. Creates harsh sunlight when the Pokemon enters battle. Interestingly enough about this one is that a drought doesn't necessarily have to include harsh sunlight. A drought is pretty much just a long absence of rainfall and a resulting water shortage. However, harsh, unyielding sunlight for an extended period of time would most likely create a drought, since there wouldn't be clouds there to drop rain on the area, and water on the ground would be faster to dry up. Ability number 71 is Arena Trap. Prevents the opposing Pokemon from fleeing. All of the Pokemon that have Arena Trap are ground types that do a lot of digging. So clearly, when the battle starts, they just dig this pitfall arena type thing that Pokemon that can't fly are unable to escape out of. Ability number 72 is Vital Spirit. The Pokemon is full of vitality, preventing it from falling asleep. You ever had trouble falling asleep on Christmas Eve since you were so excited about all the presents coming on Christmas morning? Well, you were full of a lot of energy and excitement, which is pretty much what vitality is. So a Pokemon that's always hyped up and energized because it's so vitality full, that's not a word, but you know what I mean, is not really going to be able to relax enough to fall asleep. Ability 73 is White Smoke. The Pokemon is protected by its white smoke, preventing other Pokemon from lowering its stats. So basically the same thing as Clear Body, just with a different name. However, speaking of Clear Body, in part 1 of this series, I hypothesized that negative stat changes could have something to do with light. So if a Pokemon's body is transparent, the negative stat changes would just pass right through, therefore not lowering the Pokemon's stats. However, one of my viewers, Lynx Iberian, commented on the video saying that they didn't think Clear Body referred to transparent, but referred to clear as in clean or pure. In fact, the ability's Spanish name is Pure Body, not Clear Body. So because of that, that means the Pokemon's body isn't transparent, it's clear of any dirtiness or grime, and stat lowering changes could be considered dirty. So a Pokemon with Clear Body is clear of negative stat changes. I want to thank Lynx Iberian for bringing this to my attention because, oh my god, it is a so much better explanation than the light one. So while my light explanation could still work for White Smoke, since the color white reflects more light than any other color, so there's the white smoke and the negative stat changes are just reflected off based on the color because they're based on light, I think the purity aspect is still the better explanation here. Because if you didn't know, smoke that is white is pretty much the purest smoke of all of them. Because it contains the most moisture, it's usually a result of a fire that just started, or it's burning light and flashy fuels like grass or twigs. So white smoke has fewer of the very harmful toxins that result from fires burning more man-made stuff that creates black smoke. So since white smoke is more pure, it is also pure from the dirty, toxic negative stat changes. So it's kind of a similar explanation to Clear Body. Ability 74 is Pure Power. The Pokemon's attack stat is doubled. We are following up that very long explanation with a very short one. The Pokemon just has a lot of freaking power. Ability 75 is Shell Armor. The Pokemon is protected from critical hits. The Pokemon has a shell, which acts like armor, which is good because that's what shells are intended to do most of the time. So it's protected from extra strong hits. Ability 76 is Airlock. Eliminates the effects of weather. Weather is defined as the state of the atmosphere and how it's moving and interacting. And you kinda need air to have an atmosphere. So if the air is locked in place or locked away from the battle environment, one of the two, you can't really have weather, 'cause there's no air movement. Ability 77 is Tangled Feet, and also the first ability that was introduced in Gen 4. Hooray! Congratulations! We made it to Gen 4! Only, like, what's 7 minus 4? Oh god. Tangled Feet raises the Pokemon's evasion if it is confused. Tangled Feet refers to tripping over your own feet, so the Pokemon's pretty clumsy. However, if it's confused, it's gonna be even more disoriented and have even more trouble controlling its motor skills than normal, making it trip pretty much constantly. However, that can actually be beneficial, because if the Pokemon is constantly falling around and moving erratically, it's gonna be hard to predict where it's gonna be, and therefore, harder to hit with an attack. Ability 78 is Motor Drive. Boosts the Pokemon's speed if hit by an electric type move instead of taking damage. This one's pretty straightforward. The Pokemon's body acts like a motor, so when it gets extra electrical power to it, it's just gonna convert that into more speed. Ability 79 is Rivalry. The Pokemon becomes competitive, dealing more damage to opponents of the same gender, but less damage to Pokemons of the opposite gender. Rivalries between two animals of the same gender happen a lot in nature, whether they're over a potential mate or territory, or one of them just looked at the other kind of funny. However, fights between members of the opposite sex in nature don't happen as often because they're potential mates for each other. Clearly, these Pokemon are just behaving like animals in nature. If you're the same gender, you're an enemy. If you're the opposite gender, you're a potential romantic partner. Ability 80 is Steadfast. The Pokemon's determination boosts its speed stat every time it flinches. Steadfast is pretty much determined as extremely dutifully firm and unwavering determination. So the Pokemon that has the ability Steadfast is extremely determined to win. So whenever it's prevented from attacking, which is going to limit its ability to win the battle, it's gonna get really frustrated and more motivated to win as a result of that by moving faster. Since remember, a Pokemon can only flinch if the other one hits it first. So by becoming faster, it makes future flinches much less likely. Ability 81 is Snow Cloak. Boosts the Pokemon's evasion in a hailstorm. Also, just for the record, the game, like, snow and hail are very different weather things, but the game treats them like they're the same, so just pretend hail is a snowstorm for the sake of this. But anyways, a cloak is a garment that somebody wears around them to kind of conceal them, you know, usually has a hood and stuff, so you cannot see who they are. And if a Pokemon is using the surrounding snow like a cloak, it's gonna conceal them and make them harder to see, and therefore harder to hit. Ability 82 is Gluttony. The Pokemon will eat its berry when its HP reaches half or less, which is sooner than usual. Gluttony may be a homunculus, yes, but it is also a term for eating excessively. So if a Pokemon is holding a berry and it eats a lot, it's gonna just eat the berry. Ability 83 is Anger Point. The Pokemon is angered when it takes a critical hit, and that maxes its attack stat. This one's pretty straightforward. The Pokemon has a really bad temper, so when it gets hit by something extra strong, it's gonna get super pissed off and reach the top point of its anger, and then allow its rage to fuel its attacking power. Ability 84 is Unburden. Boosts the Pokemon's speed when it loses its held item. A burden is a very heavy load that you have to carry that most of the time slows somebody down. So if they are unburdened, meaning they lose that burden, they're gonna be able to move faster. No matter how light the burden may be, because I highly doubt a berry is gonna weigh somebody down very much. Ability 85 is Heatproof. The Pokemon takes half damage from fire type moves. The Pokemon it's heat proof. It is protected from heat. Fire makes heat. So I didn't really need to explain this one, I feel like. Ability 86 is Simple. All stat changes that happen to this Pokemon are doubled. My analysis of this and prediction for this is that Simple refers to the Pokemon being simple-minded. It's not very smart, so it's too dumb to comprehend how stat changes work, so every single one that happens to it just happens twice as much. Just because they're like, oh, this is happening to me now, oh great, oh, it's happening more, woo! Ability 87 is Dry Skin. Restores HP when hit by a water move or if it's in the rain, however it takes damage in the sunlight and receives extra damage from fire type moves. This one's pretty straightforward. The Pokemon doesn't apply enough lotion to itself and has excessively dry skin, so anything that dries it out even more is gonna hurt it, but anything that moisturizes it is gonna help it. Ability 88 is Download. The Pokemon compares the opponent's defense and special defense stats and then raises its own attack or special attack stat, whichever one will be more effective. Clearly, these Pokemon have built-in internet access, which is like, my goodness, need to get one of these so I can save money on my internet bill. but it analyzes the Pokemon, goes to PokemonShowdown.com, figures out its build and stats and stuff. It's like, oh, okay. This defense is higher. Let's go to PokemonStatChanges.gov, download a special attack package, implement it, install it, put it in the C drive folder, whatever, and there you go. Ability 89 is Iron Fist. The Pokemon's punching moves are stronger. While there is the idiom of ruling with an iron fist, where it's a very strict, cruel rule, I don't actually think this has anything to do with ruling. It's just the Pokemon has a fist that's as hard as iron, so it punches hurt more. They just called it Iron Fist because it kind of relates to the idiom. And also the Marvel superhero. And finally for this video, Ability 90, Poison Heal. Restores HP if the Pokemon is poisoned instead of taking damage. Do I really have to explain this one? It heals from poison. There you go. So there we have it. This concludes Pokemon Abilities Explained Part 3. I hope you guys have been enjoying this series. I certainly am. Because if you're not enjoying this series, that kind of sucks because there's still 5 more parts to do. What did you think of this video? Which one of my explanations in this episode was your favorite? What are some other ability explanations that we haven't covered yet that you think are exceptionally clever? Let me know down in the comments below! And if you liked this video, don't forget to drop a like. It helps me out more than you realize. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. I make Pokemon videos all the time that I am sure you will enjoy. Also, don't forget, if you're watching this on July 21st, 2018, pick up an MandJTV t-shirt. They will be gone very, the end of the day today. Go pick one up if you want one, because otherwise, you ain't getting one. All right, that's all I have for now. So till next time, Poké fans. Gotta catch them all! Everybody wants to get down.